Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Naples Mac User Group meeting on March the 10th. We welcome our members from all over the world. Welcome. These meetings take place every week until June 30th, and they're the same time, 11:30 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. You must be a member of Naples Mac User Group to attend our meetings, and that's based on security and Zoom. Is Mike Wozniak here?
Yes.
Yes, he is, George. Hello.
Mike, can you try to explain this? There's going to be a time difference starting on the 14th of March.
It appears that you guys, for you guys in Florida, your time leaps 1 hour ahead this coming Sunday, but that doesn't happen here in the UK for another 2 weeks, which means anybody attending any meetings or classes over the next 2 weeks, they'll be at 3:30 rather than 4:30 for the Wednesday sessions, and 2 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock for the weekend classes, just next week and the week after, and then it returns to normal.
And that's only for the UK?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Classes are ongoing. Remember, the signups are very much ahead of last year for each and every class. We're starting, don't forget the bonus class, which is on the 27th of March, Managing Your Files by Jeff Carlson. And the way to sign up for that is just to send an email to Eckert and put in the subject area bonus class. I would assume that most everybody that's interested in taking that class is signed up, because I think we've now got over 100 attendees. On March the 20th, Dan Wozniak is back with us, and he's going to cover Zoom and FaceTime in the COVID-19 era. And so make sure you're at that meeting. We're going to continue, as I've stated and on the last few announcements. Zoom will be the way we do all of our classes and meetings in the future primarily. This Saturday, Jeff Bohr is with us, and we're going to have the security and protection class. We've reached 80. We'll probably have maybe 90 to 100 people signed up for that class. So if you haven't signed up, please do. And that's going to be a really, really good class on very, very important material. I would again like to thank both Eckert and Sheeta for their wonderful help in the area of Zoom, organizing these classes or these meetings and classes before we actually have them. They meet with the class instructors and the meeting speakers, and they plan out and make sure all the kinks are ironed out before the meeting. And then, of course, Sheeta runs through and monitors the meeting and the questions. And we've ended up with just terrific Zoom meetings each and every week, very well organized, thought out, and our members are very happy with them. On March the 17th, one of our members, Dale Stephen, he's a member and the president of the Mac Users Group out of Midland, Michigan, and he will be covering DuckDuckGo. I'm not sure how many of our members are using DuckDuckGo, but it's important that you understand from a security standpoint and many other points of view. I think DuckDuckGo is probably the best browser and search engine out there for you to use. and Dale's going to take us through that.
Mitch, go ahead.
Okay, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can, Mitch.
Good. So welcome, everybody. There's one thing I want to demo on. Well, let me just go to the first slide here. Oh, look at that. Okay. I'll go over some of these simple questions first. This one came in a while back. It's very simple, but how do you print a note from the Notes app? Well, you select the note you want to print, you touch on the three dots right up here, and then you select copy, send a copy, and the print option will come up. Okay. And that's the same on the iPhone as well. Any questions on that?
Okay, and we just want to relate that we still can't control the size, but hopefully Apple will do something about that.
Yeah, the size has gotten, I just printed something the other day, and I think I told you, Sheeta, the size went down, but it's still way large.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Can't control that.
Okay.
Okay, next. Okay. How do you find lost apps? Oh, this is Carl's. How do you find lost apps that are on your phone and move them to the home page? You search the app library or search to locate the app. Now, I'm going to show this in a minute on my phone, but to search for the app, you pull down about midway in the screen. So about like right here in the screen, you pull down, at least on a 10 phone and up. I don't know what you do on the other ones. Do you pull up on yours, Sheeta?
No, I pull down.
Okay, pull down from the about right here, and the search bar will come up, and then you type in the name of the app. And if you want to get the location of the app, you have to be very specific. So I typed in music for the music app, and it wouldn't tell me the location. And I know that you have to type in the exact name. So I thought, well, I'll type in Apple Music. And when I typed in Apple Music, sure enough, the music app came up and it showed that it was in the music file. So you've got to be very specific up here, and usually you just type the specific name of the app and it comes up. But in the case of Apple's app, I had to type the word Apple before it. So then that's one way to find it. And once you find it, you go to wherever it is and hold it down, it'll start wiggling, and then you drag it to your home page or wherever you want it. The other way to find missing apps is to go to the last page of your apps where they have this predefined summary that Apple, you can't change. Apple decided how they group things, but you go up to the app library and look in there. And so the one way, again, I'm going to start right about right here, and you just pull down, and that search bar comes up. Now, watch when I put in music. These two apps come up, but it doesn't show the location. And again, for what I found just by trying to figure out why it didn't come up is that I had to put in Apple Music. If I put an Apple above it, it'll show the file location right over here. Okay. So then the other thing you can do is I'm going to scroll over to the end of my apps and go to the library at the top. And then you can search, or you can just go down and grab one. Now, this was sort of interesting. So if I grab see if I grab the Chase Bank, what happens? No, it doesn't say anything. I just start shaking. So let me try that again. When you hard press on these, different things come up. So let me try Audible. Yeah. So when I press on Audible, it gives me different choices. So it still doesn't give me what I want, which is to move it. But if you want to move it, you just hold on it and start dragging it. Let me do that again. Let's do it with Amazon. And you see how it's moving? And I just move it to the home page and drop it in. Okay. So that's how you do that. And I'm going to delete this now off of here, and it'll say, do you want to remove this from the home screen? That's what I want to do. I don't want to delete the app. And then I'm done. So I hope that answered your questions, Carl.
Is Carl here? Yes, Carl. Okay.
Get my microphone unmuted. No, that didn't work for me. I found it under the Apple library. I dragged it to the home screen and it wouldn't let me put it in. It just, when I clicked on it, it just disappeared again. It wouldn't let me drop it anyplace in the home screen.
Well, the next step I would suggest is that you call the Apple technical support line, because they will be able to help you through that. But that is, in fact, the way you do it. But if it's not working for you, I would, what version phone you have? Didn't you say you have a 10?
It's a 10.
Yeah, should work. So I would call the Apple technical support and just tell them what you're trying to do. And I guarantee you those people are very nice and patient, and they will get you squared away on that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
More questions on that?
Anyone?
Okay, moving on. This is an interesting one.
Share your screen.
Oh, yeah, share screen. Okay. I gotta get back over here where I can share my screen. Thank you, Sheeta.
You're welcome.
Okay. So here is the next question. I guess I trust you can see it.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the Wi-Fi weak security? What does Wi-Fi weak security mean? And this person, I blocked out their name because they had their name on their Wi-Fi Wi-Fi description. But when you go into settings and go into Wi-Fi, usually your home Wi-Fi pops up, and underneath it, you can see it says weak security. This is something new in iOS 14, and it can mean a number of things, none of which are generally critical. It can mean, a number of things. And when I researched this, they said none of which are generally critical. Your modem or routers may be old and not be able to work under the latest security standards, which is the old standard is IPv4, the new is IPv6. I don't think that would be a problem, because I don't think that would cause that kind of an error. It could be you have a weak passcode, but if you hit on the I, it'll probably tell you more information. And if you Google this topic, you will get a host of articles that I sent this person, a couple of them, but they were rather confusing and had all kinds of things that this could indicate, but they all generally said that it's generally nothing critical. It's just a new warning that they're indicating, hey, there is something weak here, but it's not a critical weakness that you have to attend to immediately. Now, so I took a look. This got me looking at my router system, and I use Linksys, and I have a couple of them. I sort of had problems finding this, and I actually called Linksys helpline. They're very helpful and very good on the phone. And you can see that when I got it up, finally found out where to get it up, it does show both of them, the IPv4 and the IPv6. The IPv6 is in blue. I don't know how good that's coming through, but that indicates that that's what I'm on. And that's really controlled. If your router will handle the new standard, that's controlled by the provider. And Comcast does provide support for IPv6. So if your router handles that, it'll be automatic. They'll automatically put that on your system. And the other thing that it does when you Google this, I just was Googling this morning. I don't think I posted anything on this. But when you look at your IP address for your home, it's generally like 108.105. Whatever. The new one with IPv6 is like 15 digits long, which provides much more security. And so that is the big difference, is that the new standard, it's not faster or anything like that. It's the fact that the coding is much more secure, much longer. And that's about all I have to say on that. But I will take some questions. My knowledge in this area is limited.
Mitch, I believe I've seen that occur in my travels when I sometimes end up in a public hotspot.
Yeah. So if you would hit this I, it would probably tell you that.
Tell you.
It would probably tell you that you're in an unsecured area, or it would probably give you some. I know the article said if you hit the I, it could give you some more information. That was one of the suggestions that you do.
Okay. One of the things that when you hit the I that it does show you if you're on IPv4. In my case, it's telling me I'm on an IPv4 address and not an IPv6. And I do have Comcast. And I'm wondering, is this, you say it's automatic? Is it something that you can ask them about? Do you know?
My luck in asking Comcast anything is not good.
Okay. Then I take that question back. Okay.
But what I did is I checked my, let me just look and see what mine says real quick. Do you actually?
If you're on your phone or your iPad, after you click on the I, you should see it right above configure IP, or it's below low data mode and before configure IP.
Low data mode. It's below that.
Do you see low data mode?
Yes.
All right, right in the wording, directly below low data mode. In my case, it's listing that I'm on an IPv4 address.
No, mine does not.
Okay.
And I did not call Comcast. I have a rather new modem. It's a year and a half old, but I check that quite often and to see if I have the latest standards. And mine is in good shape, and it's a DOSIS 3.1. Which is supported by Comcast. But I called my, because it can also be that your modem will handle it, but your router system won't, because your routers are old, and mine are pretty new. And
okay.
And that's who I called, and they showed me that in fact I was on it. So, and they told me that Comcast supports both. And if you have the new available to you, it should go. So you might want to check your system out.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
James, you have a comment? Mr. Cutler, you opened your mic.
Yeah. It's possible if you're using the wrong variant of WPA2 encryption with TKIP as the key exchange protocol, That's not as good as the newer one, which is AES.
Okay, anybody understand that besides Jim?
Well, that was mentioned in the articles, but that was above my pay grade.
Okay,
Yeah,
mine too, okay,
Mine too.
all
Yeah.
right. All
Well,
right,
just remember, don't use TKIP, use AES.
Okie dokie.
And never
Alright.
use WEP on anything, anywhere, ever.
right, that's an old standard, right?
Yeah, and
All
it
right.
takes about 15 seconds to break.
Okay, all right, thank you, Jim. All right, all yours, Mitch.
Yeah, one more thing I want to mention since you were talking about old, is this IP v4 came out in the early 80s. This one came out in the 90s, but did not become popular until the last few years. And now everything is gravitating to this new standard. Okay, here we go. Look at that.
Oh, boy.
I know. Is there a good alternative for creating, maintaining, and using groups in iOS for mail? Okay, there are apps that'll do this. Some are better than others. Be aware that third-party apps need access to your contacts. And if you're granting access to your contacts, they could sell them to another party. And Sheeta actually warned me about that. Do you want to chime in on that, Sheeta?
Well, yes, nothing is free. And if you have apps that, want access to your contacts in order to do some fabulous things for you, understand nothing is free. And what you are giving them is your contacts. So, and that's something you really don't want to do. And I'm sure your friends don't want you to do that either. So just understand what the ramifications are.
Okay. I did create a link in the notes to their website. The app is on the App Store for the one I use. This is the one I use, and I just recently got it. I found it to be very good, albeit that it is free. So I don't know what they're doing with my contacts, but I was able to create a list. I was able to import it. What I actually did, the quickest way to do it is I created the list on my Mac, in the Mail app on my Mac. And then when I opened up this app, and it wasn't a smart list. I created a smart list, but then I make it a regular list. I don't know if that creates questions. Let me know. But when I opened this up, I was able to go to my contacts and just pull in that list. And it populated, and then I was able to edit it, take a few names out that I didn't want in there. I could add a few if I wanted to add them, and you could create a mail right from the app. So I don't do group mails very often. But this seemed like a good one. The one I used to use, I hadn't used in a couple of years, and I went to use it and I found out that it hadn't been updated for a couple of years and it wasn't working properly. And that happens. Any questions on that?
Yes, you do have a question. Don Peacock, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
No, I didn't have a question. When you say groups, it's might be confusing to some if you're just talking about the new our groups.
No, we're not talking about, he's not talking about groups IO. We're talking about groups in the Mail contacts app, Apple Contacts app.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Don.
Be like I have a bike group. That's primarily the one I send stuff to.
You do have another question. Alan, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hi, it's actually Barbara in this case. I was wondering if Mitch is using the third-party group email app because there's something wrong or not available on Apple?
I could pull down my contacts from the, I assume I could, I'm not sure if I could email it from my email to all my contacts. I think I tried to do that. You couldn't do it. Sheeta, do you know that?
I use groups when if I do have groups and I do use them. So I don't have an issue with it. You can do it. It's, it's not a big feature. You can create groups and email to as many people that you put into the group. You just, put them in a group.
If
So I don't
may-
have a problem with it.
If I may add to that, Eckhart, you're speaking in the good old day before NaplesMark used FileMaker Pro to the extent we are using it now. When I did the class registration, I created groups for each class or each meeting, particularly for class within contact, and I could easily then send emails from that particular group to send them reminders or announcements and so forth. I've used it a lot, and it worked very well for me in the past. So really, I don't understand what you're trying to accomplish with an additional app for group emails. Again, if you create groups within contacts, then you're all set to go.
You are on the Mac, but I don't know that you can use those same groups on an iOS device.
You can. They do show up.
Yes, they do show up.
Yeah, they do show up on your iOS device.
You'll have to give me a lesson
they-
on that, because I've got a group set up, and when I go to send it to that group, it doesn't populate.
Remember, is it a group or a smart group, Mitch?
No, it's a group.
Okay, my groups show up. Let me try if I put in a 2. Yeah, you can do it from iOS. Andrea, you have a question. Can you unmute? Can you ask your question?
I don't have a question.
Okay, you unmute your mic. Please, if you can, leave your mic muted. All right.
Did
Barbara,
Betty
did that
have a
answer?
question?
Nope, not for this. Okay. I guess they're.
Question, but Alan did have a related question. May he
It
ask
wasn't
it?
a question, it was a comment. I notice on my phone, when I type in a particular person, they often come up with a whole bunch of other people that I have also associated with that person. So while it doesn't give me a group, it suggests a bunch of people that basically on my computer are in that same group. So that I don't really understand. Sometimes it gives me this whole bunch of connected people, and other times it doesn't. So I'm really confused. Anybody have any idea why sometimes it gives you a whole group of related people and other times it doesn't?
It's just trying to help you out.
But I mean, why does it do it sometimes and not all the time?
Well,
I can't. Go ahead, Mitch.
I've got a comment on that.
Mhm.
Like with my bike group, when I create the contact, whether it's in a group or not, it happens to be in a group, but somewhere in the contact, I put the name bike. I put it in comments, or I put it where the company name belongs. And so if I type bike in the 2, I get a whole list of everybody in the bike group. Problem is I can't select, I got to select them all individually.
Mhm.
But that could be, you might have something in those contacts that it's relating
Mhm.
to several people.
No, what I mean is that sometimes I type, say, George, and it'll only pop up George's email address, and I send him a message. But then other times I'll put George, and Eckert comes up, maybe even Sheeta comes up along with George. Because somehow or other the computer remembered that last time I sent a message to George, I also included Sheeta and Eckert. So but sometimes, but doesn't do that all the time.
Is the mail that you're creating, is it a brand new one or is it a reply?
It's a brand new one.
The only thing I can think of is that it's just trying to be helpful. I can't answer the rest. But Mitch, I do have a response to you not showing your group. If you create a new message, directly to the right of the to field is a circle with a plus sign in it. If you click on that circle with a plus sign, you will then get a new screen that lists your contacts, and there's also a link that says groups. If you click on groups, then it'll show you all of the groups that are in your contacts. And you can select your group to send an email to.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to belabor this anymore.
Thank you, Alan.
Good. I see that. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Any
good.
more questions? No. All right, go ahead, Mitch.
Good. Okay, here we go.
Woo.
Oh. Okay, what if I make a mistake and respond to a phishing bait? Well, if you do that, you're going down a very dark hole, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. I said here, what I would do is immediately change my email passcode at a minimum, and if you responded to a phishing thing like for Facebook, and Facebook was in there, I would, or your bank, I would immediately go to whatever site that you responded to, and go to the real site and change your passcode there, if that makes sense. The best thing is try to avoid phishing bait, and I know sometimes that can be very troublesome, and I'm sure that Jeff will have more to say on that at the class on Saturday. And we'll get back to comments on this if you have questions in a second. The second question this individual sent in is, what about marking items as spam? And Apple's way of marking items as spam is to send them to, their primary way is to just send it to junk. And that will block the sender from coming into your inbox. It'll be in the junk box, but it won't be in your inbox. And the other thing you can do is you can always tap on the email it's coming from and block that contact. Doing the unsubscribe is very problematic. I wouldn't use that unless you know the site and you know that it's very legitimate, because a lot of times you hit the unsubscribe and it's just telling somebody that you're out there and they're going to bombard you. I would avoid the unsubscribe. It was a good idea when it first came out, but it became problematic. And then I think, Sheeta, you had some other things to consider on the Mac, one being that third-party app that you use.
Yes, I use a app called Spam Seed, and it's by developer Michael Tsai, Tsai. I put the link in the chat, and you can go to that site. It is an excellent program. I know several of our members use it, and if you do use it, please chime in. It basically works. It's a plugin, and you actually train it. You tell it what messages come into your Apple Mail, and you tell it this is spam. And so it will learn what you consider spam and what you consider a good contact. And it actually creates behind the scenes what's called a whitelist. And it will compare every email that you see to the known whitelist. And as you keep training it, after a while, it'll know which email that you receive is considered spam, and it will send it to a spam folder that it will create. So I've used this program for, I don't know, 20 years or more already, and it is an excellent program. The cost, you said, Mitch, was what?
It's $30, and I did put a link on our discussion board to their site. It is an app you have to buy at their site. It's not in the App Store, and it's for the Mac only.
No, it's not for the Mac only. Well, they used to have it for other apps, but okay, it may be now.
Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
have to buy it on the Mac, and it might filter down to the others, but I'm sure it does. I mean, if you filter something on your Mac mail, it's going to go right down.
No, I mean, it's a plugin that used to be for other platforms as well. That's what I mean.
Oh, that could
Okay.
be. Okay.
Yeah. But it is not a subscription. It is a one-time payment. And in the 20 or so years that I've used this app, this developer has not charged an upgrade fee, even though he updates this app on a regular basis. So it's wonderful. Anyone else besides me use Spamseed? Like to comment?
Yep. Happy of Suffolk here. We've been using it for about 15 years, and we see almost no spam these days at all. So I would heartily recommend it.
Thank you, Mike. All right, Mitch, all yours.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's just move on. Okay, this is actually my last slide, so we can go through some of these things. Okay, first of all, before I get to this, I want to do a demo on my iPad because there's a question. It's actually this one right here. Someone said that they upgraded to iOS 14, and all of a sudden when they do a slideshow, they can't get the music and so on, and it's all there. So I just want to demo that real quick. So let me get my iPad going here, just a second.
Bill, nice. You have a question while Mitch is setting up? Your hand is up, Bill.
Yes. I'm wondering if anybody has any information on how accurate their iPhone calls when they declare them as being a malignant call of some type. I'll get instead of saying it's my friend calling, it says this is a spam call. How accurate is that?
Hopefully no one's ever answered that spam call, but does anyone got a comment for that? My husband has seen those a lot, and we make sure we don't answer them. I may have seen it once, and I would if Apple considers it a spam call, take heed, and also just if it's a legitimate person who wants to talk to you, they will leave a message. So look at it that way.
Right.
Sharon, you have a comment or a question?
Yes, I have a comment about the spam calls. My mom gets those all the time. It's a long story why she does, so I don't want to get into that. But suffice it to say, it is very legitimate. Every time there's been the software said it's been a spam call, lo and behold, that's exactly what it was. Don't answer. As Ms. Hunter said, if it's a real message, real call, they'll leave a message. If not, peace back.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and usually those spam calls, I think, come from your provider. So like AT&T, I know has a spam call filter, and Sheeta, you might not see that because I know that you use the filter that's built into the iPhone that you can turn on, that if it's not in your address book,
I don't answer. That's
don't answer. And if it's important, they'll leave a message. Right. And now what I found with that, I use that frequently. It's a setting, and I can show it in a little bit. But what I found is some of these spammers are starting to leave messages.
Okay.
but they're easily deleted. And I think I'll have time. I'll show you where to set that up and everything on your phone. What I do is if I call somebody like a window repair guy today, and he says, yeah, I'm going to come out 2 days from now, he'll say, I'll call you before I'm going to come. I don't know what phone he's going to use, and I don't want to miss that call. So I'll temporarily go in and switch that off and leave it off for a day or so. And as soon as I get done with him, I'll turn it right back on. Okay, so there was this question about doing a slideshow in iOS 14 and the movies or the slides not being able to use music and so on. So I've got my iPad up, and I've selected an album, happens to be a home edition that we did several years ago, and I took pictures as we were going along. But right up here with these 3 dots, you hit on that, and this menu comes up, and you go down to slideshow, and you hit on that. Yeah, it is doing that. Now, it doesn't show, but there's an option part down here. And if I hit that option area, it allows me to change the music.
Can you stop the slideshow and show us where it is?
Yeah, let me do that.
And can
I don't know if I can do that, but it's when you hit on this, I don't think, let me hit on it and see if I can stop the slideshow, and it'll show. I don't think it will. No, it doesn't. It's right. Zoom is not allowing me to show it, but it's right down here. There's options. And it comes up there, and it's right at the bottom. What I can do is I'll take a couple screenshots and show it in photos. Let me do that real quick. And let me pull it. Let me go to the music, and
if you do play music, Mitch, before you start, if you do play music, play the music and don't talk, so that we can mute the music in the recording.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm not going to play any more music. And I know I had a song that we would have copyright stuff problems with, but anyhow, let me go to my albums real quick, and because I just took a couple screenshots, or my photos. Yeah. So here's what you see initially. And this music here are the standard musics that Apple provides. There's 4 or 5 of them. And so it looks like, well, I can't select any other music. But if you slide up on this, this is what you get. And your music is down here. And if you hit that, your music library comes up. Now, interestingly enough, when I select that and I select my albums, somehow it does not populate all the songs that are in my albums. I don't know why, because they're all there, but it populates a number of them.
Some are in the cloud.
Could be, yeah, that could be the reason. So that is how to do that for the person. I don't know if that person's here today, but if they are, I hope that clears it up, because they said they couldn't do it anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Deborah, is that you?
Yes, it is. And that actually was my question. And I can't try it again now because I'm attending this meeting on my iPad, but I was familiar with it from previously. And I found that the options down in the bottom right was no longer available for me. It just isn't there. on this format now. So I'll
Well-
try it again and see what happens, but
Yeah, I would try it again, and if you have, it is there. And if you have difficulty with it, again, I would recommend you call Apple technical support and they will guide you through it because it's
I
it's
will do
definitely
that.
there. And it's definitely part of iOS 14.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let me stop sharing this and get back to my desktop here. Okay. Okay, these next couple, consider having settings, the actual app settings in the watch dock for fast access. I find periodically, not often, but about once a month or so, I'll want to get to the settings in my watch, and it's, you know, it's down, way down the list. Hard to find because I use the list view. I know Sheeta uses the little circle views, whatever what do they call that, Sheeta?
It's the grid.
The grid.
Grid.
She uses the grid. I use the list. And with the list view, it's of course down under S's, and so you got to scroll down. So I just found, hey, just put it in the dock, and it's real easy to find. The other thing is that I found that the dock is nice, but I found that on my favorite watch faces, which I'm going to show in a minute, using different watch faces, using a different watch face, the same type of watch face, for easy access to different complications is a very easy and handy tool. And I want to show that, so I am going to go to my phone real quick and get into that. So let me stop this and share my phone. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I have all my watch stuff in a folder here. So if we go to that, you could do this on the watch, but it's also available in the app, and so it's easier to show there rather than show it on my watch. Now, here are my three favorite watch faces. They're all the infograph monitor. That's my favorite by far. And I have three of them. They all have the time. They all have the weather, but they have different things. So the first one is what I use, what I would call my health face. And because it has the EKG, it has the pulse ox, which is available on the watch 6 only. And it also has my heart rate. And of course the exercise. And so then when I go to, if I swipe over on my watch to the next one, I've just changed a couple things. Let me just do this so you can see both. So I got rid of the EKG and I put in the wind. I bike a lot, and so one of the things I want to know is how windy it is out all the time. And then the pulse ox, I got rid of that, and I put the exercise here. So I can just hit on this, and the exercise stuff comes up to choose whether I'm taking a walk, a bike ride, or in the gym, or what have you. I find that to be handy. And then text, I have text over here. Now, you can have all these in the dock, which is where I used to have them, but I just find swiping back and forth on the face is much more convenient. So the third one I have, and this is the one I use this is the one I have on most of the time. So in this one, I changed the wind. I got the battery percent instead of the wind. And instead of exercise, I've got the phone. Okay, so I want to make a phone call. And I do have text again because I like to get the text coming in. So I just find it very convenient on the watch to swipe back and forth between these three favorite watch faces to get these different complications, and it's a personal preference. Any questions on that?
Any questions, anyone?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Michael.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mitch, I was away for a second there. How did you get these different elements onto the infograph modular?
Okay,
So for example, I bike like you, I bike, I'm about to bike right after this call. And
right.
And I'm always having to go over and get the, the exercise icon started. I didn't know I could have it here on my watch face. How does one accomplish that?
I'll show you that right now. So let me go in and hit this one, and it'll say edit. And you can do this on the watch. You can actually do this on your watch face as well. But since I've got this up, and so when I go here and I go to
forgive me, I didn't. How did you get to the edit?
Can you start it from a new watch face, Mitch?
Yeah, I can start from a new watch face.
Start it from a new one.
Let me just get out of here. Back. Okay, so let me go down and watch gallery. So let's go down to I like that infograph. So let me go that. Okay, so here it is right here. So let's just pull this one up. I'm going to select this one. Okay. Now, I don't like these colors. I like the multicolor. So you get that down here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is go slide this over and get to where it says multicolor. And I'm going to tap on that, which is right here. So that is going to change that. Okay. Now, then you go down here and it says, okay, well, what do you want to do on the top left? On the top left, okay, I have Earth. And let's say I want to have something else. Let's just say I want camera remote. Okay. And now I've got that done. Now let's say I want the date is fine. I like that, and the weather is the weather's okay, and so that would be the middle conditions. And if I hit on conditions, it's got other things I could get, but I want just the conditions. And then if I go down here to the bottom middle, it's got Cupertino. And what I want is, nope, I don't want that. I want, hold on a minute. What I want is middle. I don't want workouts. I wanted the exercise. Activity. Activity. So activity. Okay, now that's what I like in the middle. So then if I go to the bottom left, again, I have activity there already. And now what I want to do is I want to get the different exercises. And I got to see where they are. It is workouts. There it is. Okay. And then you would do the same thing if you wanted to change the temperature. So is that clear, or any questions on that?
Very helpful. Gives me something to work with. Thank you.
Yeah.
I may
and
come
then,
back.
like I say, it's real easy just to hit on that. If I hit on that exercise, it comes right up. I don't have my watch. I'm not mirroring my watch, so I can't show it, but give it a whirl.
I just want to comment that George has always said that there's no question it's too stupid, and I did not really understand that all these controls existed on my iPhone. So I've gone from being really stupid to just being stupid. So I really thank you, George, and thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it.
There really aren't any stupid questions at
All
all.
right, Betty, you had a question. Betty Larson.
Hi, Mitch.
Hi.
What is the Pulse app you had in the lower left-hand corner on your first watch screen?
Hold on a minute. Let me look. Okay, so we'll go back to here and go back to here.
Okay, there it is.
This one right here.
No, on the other side, lower left.
This.
Yes.
That is the pulse ox. That's the oxygen. That's the pulse ox. The oxygen level in your blood. That's new on iOS or on Watch 6.
Okay.
So if you don't have a Watch 6, you won't get that.
Yes, I do. I just hadn't thought of putting it on my face. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's real easy. That way it's real easy. I mean, you can put it in, you can put these in the dock, which is another sort of easy way to get them.
Mhm.
But I just find swiping back and forth from these different faces, which is very easy to do, is very convenient, at least for me.
Yes, I use the same face, but I hadn't thought to put that there, and I think that's handy because I forget to use it. And then when it's right there,
and you can just, like I say, I just duplicated the faces, and I have 3 of them, and these are my 3 favorite. This is the one. This is the one I use. That's the one that I have on most of the time. But if I want to quickly, if I'm going to go exercise, I just swipe on my watch over and go to the next one.
Okay, good. I've put voice memos on one of my faces too, and that is so handy.
Yes, fact is, I was thinking about putting that on one of mine as well. That is a really good one. I actually was going to put it until I found that there was one for wind. And I wanted the wind there because the wind is a neat deal when you're biking.
It sure is.
Okay. All right, Alan or Barbara, you have a question. Thank you, Betty.
Thank you.
I'm just surmising the most you could put is 3 in the dock. There's no way to get the dock to have more than 3 in smaller images.
That's not true. Yeah.
You mean these 3 right here?
Yeah, I mean, could I put 4 in there instead of 3? I know they'd have to be smaller, but could I put?
No. You can only put what is there. But if you go to, there are watch faces that do more. So this one just does, this one does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I think the time is 1. I'm pretty sure. Anyhow, if you go to the watch gallery and you choose, it's too busy for me. I actually have it. Well, I actually have it as one of mine. Let me just go back to that.
There you go.
This one right here, this infograph. Okay. This one has 1, and then in addition to the temperature, it gives a range for the day. It's got text. It's got your appointment, next appointment. It's got the date. It's got the exercise loop. It's got the pulse ox I have in there. There's the record. There's a phone, and there is the EKG. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on this face.
Got it. Okay.
But you don't have to use all 8 of them. You don't have to use all of this is the modular. That's the one I used to use. But this info modular. This is the modular. I used to use that all the time. But the info modular, and notice that the type is bigger. See that?
Yeah.
It's more bold. And I like it a lot better. And the apps are a little bit bigger. See how it's a little smaller over here? And with that info modular, they increase the size of those. And I just like it a lot better. That's actually the one that Marilyn used in her presentation that I think was her favorite.
Okay, and just to clarify, those are complications. That's not the doc, Alan. The doc is something completely different.
Yeah, complications. You can put complications in the doc.
That's just not
complications. A lot of people wonder why they call those complications, because I don't like the term myself, but that happens to be an old watch saying from way back when they started having adding like the date on a watch way back 50 years ago. And they called them complications.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, Mitch, all yours.
Okay, so I want to go while I'm mirroring this. I want to go into. I always get in trouble, George. You might have to block some of this out if some of my stuff shows, but I wanted to go into settings. I'll go into settings right here. And I wanted to go into iCloud, and I just wanted to show that, and the reason I'm showing this is because I used to get this question frequently when we did classes at the library. People would say, well, I've got my iCloud backup on. I don't understand why it's not, I want to know where I can see this. Well, here's where you see it. And when you touch on that, this says when it was last backed up. And if yours says something other than recently, because it backs up whenever you're in Wi-Fi and you have it on a charger. So mine backs up every night because that's what I do. It'll show the last backup. But frequently, meaning several times a year, I'd run into somebody and it would have 3 months ago or 4 months ago. It happened to my son. And I said, well, you've got to check your iCloud storage, and you probably used up the free 5 gigabytes that they give you, and you need to spend 99 cents a month to get to upgrade your storage. And to upgrade your storage, you go to storage management right here. And then you can go to, I have 2 terabytes, I have a family plan, and you go to here and it should give you, it'll say what I've got, and I'll have choose a plan. Well, it's not wanting, I'm not doing the choose the plan, but that's where you would do it. So I just wanted to mention that because frequently people are not, they wonder why their phone isn't backing up, and it's usually because their storage plan is too small. Any questions on that?
I don't see any questions. Anyone? All right, continue on, Mitch.
Wait. For what it's worth, when I had the smaller plan and I used up all the room, Apple came on and suggested that I should upgrade to a bigger plan. So don't they warn you when you get close to your limit?
They do warn you. Now, I don't know how frequently they will warn you. They probably warn these people, and I don't remember how many times they warned my son, but all of a sudden I said, well, hey, when is the last time your phone backed up? And he said, well, it was 3 months ago. And I said, well, how much storage you have? And that's when I put him on my family plan. But they do send you some warnings. I just don't know if they'll send you warnings continually for 3 or 4
They do.
months.
They do.
They
It's
do.
continue.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband got so annoyed, and so he finally updated his plan, but it is a regular warning.
Okay, good. And you can always, I don't know why you don't do this, Sheeta, but I had plenty with the 2 terabytes. So I created a family plan, and I have my wife on there and I have my son on there for iCloud storage, which
Well,
was a way to save a little money.
Well, I'm a independent type woman, and I like to have things separate, and so does my husband. He's an independent type guy, so it's all right.
Okay, good.
Thank
That's
you.
fine.
It costs them
Okay.
extra bucks, but they're independent.
That's right. It's just
That's
a
right.
buck.
That's right.
My wife is
Yeah.
independent also.
Yeah. So, okay, Eckert had a point, and it was on, well, you know, when he picks up in iOS 14, when you pick up your phone, automatically by default, they're turning this option on that'll silence or significantly reduce the ring volume when you pick up your phone if it's ringing. Or if you're looking at your phone and it starts ringing. And the way you get to that is go to Face ID and passcode right here. Okay, and you get in here and you go down to this, attention awareness feature. Okay, the iPhone will check for attention before dimming the display, and it will also lower the ring volume on some alerts. And one of the alerts is when you get a call. So actually, Eckert, you might want to chime in on this. He was ready to go buy a new phone because his wife's phone stopped ringing. Eckert, do you have a comment?
Doesn't look like it. All right.
Eckert went
I had
to
to
lunch.
attend something else, but I'm glad you mentioned it because it's a funny story. But my wife experienced the fact that she received a phone call and it stopped ringing the moment to pick up the phone, and it happened again and again. Then I tested it, and when I had it in my hand, it continued ringing. So, as we now know, because the phone didn't recognize my face. But we thought there was something wrong with the phone. We couldn't resolve it. We went online. We tried to buy a new phone for her. We stopped at selecting the proper color. And then before I actually bought a new phone, I Googled the issue and then I found the answer. So that saved us probably a few $100.
Great. All right. Thank you, Eckert. I want to show one more thing that I had talked about earlier, and that's the setting for the silence calls. So if you go under phone right here, okay, and I think I might have mine. I need to turn, no, I do have mine on. So silence unknown callers, it's on. So when I go to that, this is what it says. Calls from unknown numbers will be silenced and they will be sent to voicemail and display on your recent call list. Okay, incoming calls will continue to ring for people who are in your contacts or recent outgoing numbers and Siri suggestions. So this works really well. I'll turn that Siri off. Turn off, Siri. Stop. Yeah. Stop. Okay.
She doesn't want to listen to you.
Oh, like my wife. Anyhow,
Goodbye, Siri.
so this is really handy. Now, like I say, I switch this on and off periodically because if I know somebody's going to call, but the other thing is that if it's an important call, you know they're going to leave a voicemail. So if you have it on and you get a call and it's from somebody who wants to talk to you or needs to talk to you, they're going to leave a message and it will show as a recent call and it will light up in your message area. And as I said, some spammers are now, particularly the ones that call about extended warranties on cars that I sold 5 years ago, they'll leave a message and I just delete the messages. But this is a really great feature. I know Sheeta uses it a lot, and it really puts a halt to unwanted calls. Any questions on that?
I don't know about on that particularly, but Thomas Hopkins, you have a question.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent presentation, Mitch. I'm really pleased with the multiple watch faces.
Mine isn't a question, it's more a comment again. Does anybody have this thing called RoboKiller? I have that, and that seems to do a lot of the same things that Mitch just mentioned.
Yes, I had RoboKiller. I probably still have it. I turned it off. AT&T provides a free one. I've used that in the past. And those are the ones that'll usually show spam call coming in. If you have the one that silence unknown callers, nothing shows at all. It just goes, somebody wants to leave a voicemail, they can leave a voicemail, but it doesn't show spam at all.
Also, there's another one with the word mail in it or something that sends me a message when I get calls from people I don't know. I have several of those blockers because I'm tired of all of them, so they're probably redundant.
Yes.
Okay.
Other questions?
Any other questions?
I have one, Mary. Mitch,
Yes,
I got a new watch. I'm kind of new to the watch, and I'm not sure what the dock is.
Okay. Let me share my screen real quick again. Okay, now this will be on your watch as well. And the way to get it on your watch is to press the, well, this is the easiest way to set it up, is to go into this. Again, I got a folder with all my watch stuff in it. But if you go to the watch app right here, and it will show the third item down is the dock. Okay, so if I hit on the dock, now, the dock can be done in two different ways. You can put in your favorites, okay, which are ones that you choose and stay there permanently until you change them, or the most recent ones that you've used. I always put in the ones I want. And some of these are sort of redundant because I already have them on watch faces, but this is where I used to go to get my workouts. This cycle meter is one of the ones I use for riding the bike. I find it better than the Apple one. And unfortunately, it is a complication, but it will not allow me to put this on the watch face. So I leave it in the dock. Here's what I was saying about having settings in dock. So the dock is just, and you can only have up to 10 items in the dock. Okay, so there's a lot of things I took out of my dock because I have them on watch faces. So I used to have the heart rate and the EKG and all that stuff in here, but since I have them on the watch face, I ought to take this one out because I really don't need it there anymore.
Could I interrupt you for just a minute, Mitch?
Sure.
I've got 8 items in my favorites, and I have checked favorites as what I want on the dock, but I don't know how to look at the dock on my watch.
Okay, on the watch, you press the bottom button. The
Oh,
bottom button below the crown, and your dock will automatically come up and you just scroll through it either with the crown or your finger. Okay?
Yes, got it. Thank you so much.
all right,
You're
Mitch, it's 12:45.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing. And I thank you all. We had a great meeting, I think.
Yes, thank you very much,
We
Mitch.
did.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you.
Thanks,
Mitch.
You're
Excellent.
welcome.
Thank you.
Mitch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch. Good job. Great.